The games are over.
The game is over.
And now it's time to look back at what went right and what went wrong. This is your Sunday morning podcast with Hans Olsen, Scotty G, and Lloyd Cole on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right. What a weekend. We got some games to break down. It is your Sunday morning podcast. Let's get to it, folks. Hans Olsen is in Tucson. I'm in Hawaii. Lloyd Cole is in West Valley. We've got you covered from every angle of this one. All right, Hans, how you doing, buddy? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. I'm just polishing off a Whataburger milkshake. What time are we? 3 o'clock in the morning?
I'm 10:51.
Grab my phone. I am 1:51. So, Lloyd, you are, what, 2:51?
I am 2:51. Unless the time is different out in West Valley.
So, full disclosure, Scotty's got a long flight tomorrow. I've got a flight in the morning. We all just got back from the stadium. I literally got into my room about 15 minutes ago. Scotty, we did stop at, and I got the green chili Whataburger.
Nice.
I went 3 patties.
Attaboy.
And I've got a gigantic Whataburger chocolate shake. And so I'm pretty happy, man. After an insane game, coming out with the W, I'm pretty happy. And, Scotty, I know you didn't see this one. Do you want me to kind of set it up for you?
Oh, I would love, because – you know, it doesn't. You've seen so much football in your day that you don't overreact to stuff very often. But you were sending me some texts in the middle of my call on like, I just saw something crazy, and I'm like, I cannot wait to break this down because I'm stuck in the middle of this game of Utah State and Hawaii, and so yeah, dude, I'm pretty much finding out for the first time what happened.
No, man, this was absolute insanity, Scotty. I promise you. And Lloyd, I know you were back and forth between the Utah and BYU game. But I'm going to just set this up for you, Scotty. So BYU scores 14 quick points, and then they go into this weather delay. And then Arizona comes out, and they proceed to score multiple points, take a nice cushiony lead of 10 points into the quarter, down by 10, had lost all their momentum, and all of a sudden they put together this crazy long drive. It's a 7-minute drive. They take possession at 11 minutes and 14 seconds, and they're down by 10. And Aaron Roderick goes on this methodical drive with Bear Bachmeier. They're running, they're huddling, they're just burning clock. BYU fans are losing their mind. But I just kind of understand. That's Aaron Roderick, and he's got to slow play it with this true freshman quarterback because you don't want to throw the pick or have a turnover because that'll just end the game. So they slow play and they roll it all the way down, 7 minutes, 7+ minutes. They get stopped right around the 10-yard line, and they kick the field goal. So 3 points in. Now you got about 5 minutes left, and Arizona takes possession. 5 minutes left. They hold Arizona to a 3-and-out. They call one of their timeouts, and they stop the clock, and they get the ball back with about 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So listen to this. So Arizona punts. Parker Kingston gets this return, fields it at like the 15-yard line, gets a return all the way to Arizona's 45. It just uncorks this return. It breaks a couple of tackles, gets to the edge. Now, he was tackled by the punter. I'm sure he's not happy about that. But sets the team up perfectly. Bear Bachmeier goes QB draw. They go L.J. Martin run. They hit a couple of nice passes, and they get all the way down to the 5-yard line. Now, this is the end of the regulation. They get to the 5-yard line, 55 seconds left. You get a couple of stops and bad calls. You're now sitting 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Arizona commits a pass interference. It resets the down. BYU tries a QB draw. It's stopped up. Clock is ticking down. And like they could have scored and left 55 seconds on the board and 3 timeouts for Arizona. Instead, they don't score. They get stopped. They continue to drive. The clock ticks all the way down to 19 seconds. And Bear Bachmeier on a rollout tucks the ball, heads straight downfield, goes in for the touchdown. They tie it up with 19 seconds left, Scotty. So 10 straight points. They tie it up, 19 seconds left. And Arizona chooses just to go to overtime. So they take a knee with 19 seconds and 2 timeouts. They take a knee and take it to overtime. Well, the crazy thing is, Scotty, BYU fans had turned this into a home game. I'm not even kidding you. 8,000 BYU fans, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 Arizona fans. And BYU fans turned this thing into a home overtime. Well, to start overtime, BYU starts on defense. They hold Arizona to a field goal. Okay? BYU gets the ball, and, classic Aaron Roderick, he takes the shot. He wants to end it. One and done. Takes the shot to Chase Roberts on a deep ball. It's incomplete. Now it sets it up 2nd and 10. Bear Bachmeier gets sacked and harassed for 2 downs. So now they're 4th. That's 4th down and 11, or 4th down and 12. They bring in Will Farron, who had missed a field goal earlier, for a 47-yard field goal to tie this in the first overtime. He knocks it through. So now you go into second overtime. It's crazy. Second overtime, completely different. And I was just calling for this because, Scotty, BYU ran for 300 and some odd yards. I can have 200 and some yard, crazy amount. 250 yards, I think it was. 258 yards, okay? They hadn't stopped BYU. LJ Martin was running through the middle. Nothing could run to the outside. Everything was between the tackles. So overtime number 2, they go Bear Bachmeier on a dive, LJ Martin on a run, Bear Bachmeier on a keep off the edge, LJ Martin on a run. They get all the way down to the 5-yard line. Bear Bachmeier sprints out, tucks it, dives into the end zone, gets the touchdown. Second overtime, you got to go for 2.
Yep.
They go for 2 on a slant. Bear Bachmeier misses it. They end up with 6 points. They miss the 2-point conversion. All Arizona's got to do is score, get the 2-point conversion. Arizona takes their offensive possession, and this is where it gets crazy, man. Jay Hill calls press man across the board.
Oh,
he had his corners walked up on these tough Arizona wide receivers, and they're jamming in the chest at the line, and they're running just one-on-ones. And Jay starts bringing in extra pressure, and they start pushing. They get Arizona into a 4th and 10, and they're somewhere around the 20-yard line, 18 or 20-yard line, 4th and 10. Noah Fafita takes the snap, calls man on man. Arizona goes to their classic corner route. It's Noah Fafita's favorite route. They'd hit it 3 or 4 times in this game consistently. They go to run the corner. Evan Johnson jams this receiver in the chest at the line of scrimmage, runs with him, and this guy gets just 1 step past him. Evan Johnson makes it up. Noah Fafita lets the thing fly. It's in the air, and you can see it's just like a 1-step gap. And you're like, oh, this is going to be a touchdown. And then we're to the 2-point conversion. And the ball hits the receiver's hands in the corner, and Evan Johnson comes over the top, rakes it out. Incomplete. Game over. Double overtime. BYU holds on to 6-0. And it was just it was complete insanity. 8,000 BYU fans had stacked into. Yeah, no.
I'm kidding.
They didn't.
I'm kidding.
But if they could, they would have. They would have tore down the goalposts if they could. But I'm just telling you. Oh, I got to throw this in, Scotty, because this was the craziest moment. So in regulation, when they were coming down the field to score their touchdown. And time was down to 50 seconds. Bear Bachmeier takes a draw up the middle, and an Arizona defender punches the ball right out of his hands. The ball hits the ground. On third down, it hits the ground, and it pops 2 yards forward to a first down marker, but 2 Arizona defenders jump on it. So, Greg and I have perfect view of this, and the 2 Arizona defenders jump on it, and we're like, oh, game over. Freaking game over. All this fight to get back into it, game over. And this big pile, probably 8 to 10 bodies on this big pile. And we're watching the officials, we're like, what are they can't figure this out. And Kyle Safarchuk, the backup offensive guard, stands up with the ball in his hand.
Oh.
I don't know what happened at the bottom of that pile. But Safarchuk, who is from Arizona, somehow dug that ball out of 2 different defenders' hands to salvage that offensive drive that resulted in a touchdown to get it to overtime. It's like whatever was crazy could happen, happened in this game. But BYU retains a 6-0 record, taking it into the rivalry game against a 5-1 Utah team, and it was just electric.
Tell me, when he came out of that ball, you yelled out, Farchuk! Because it sounds like Farkas a little bit.
Scotty Safarchuk.
Oh, man.
His teeth were yellow. I swear they were yellow.
What a dude!
He had yellow teeth.
I thought they were done, man. And I'm just seeing scoring updates, and I see they're down by 10, and I'm just like, it's over, man. This is done. And I was bummed out because I'm like, oh man, they're both going to come, because I could see Utah was blowing out Arizona State. We'll get to that game here in a second. But the whole time I was just thinking, man, we were so close to having BYU at 6-0 and Utah at 5-1, and so much on the line, and what's going to be a crazy game next week. And then I keep looking over, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, they're down 7. Oh, they're tied. They're overtime. Oh, it's second overtime. And then I see the W. I was like, okay, next week just took care of itself. So, I mean, my goodness, Hans. And the fact
it's insanity.
The fact that you're looking at a situation, too, where BYU fans just went to Tucson and just completely ran Arizona fans out of the building, and they were the ones willing to wait through that kind of a weather delay. It was just, I mean, that's just amazing to think of.
Oh, it's amazing. It was amazing. And I'm sorry to anybody that's listening to this crap podcast and they're like, why do they sound like crap? Well, it's 2:00 in the morning. We were just on a 9-hour broadcast with the weather delay, just fully extended.
Yeah, we're a little gassed.
And my throat and voice is just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gassed. But Scotty, I don't think you could draw up a better situation for the rivalry game.
No.
I just want to paint this picture. Now you got a 5-1 Utah team and a 6-0 BYU team. Utah should be ranked after that ass whooping that they put on Arizona State. They should sneak into the top 25. BYU should jump up into around 16, 15. So you've got 2 ranked teams that still control their destiny in the Big 12 win. They can't suffer a second Big 12 loss. BYU is desperate because obviously they want to beat their rival, but BYU wants to keep this unbeaten streak because they got back-to-back road games against Iowa State and Texas Tech. Very, very tough games. So that will leave them with that margin of error. Everything is on this rivalry game. I mean, everything that you could think of. Scotty, Lloyd, can you guys think of a more intense situation for a rivalry game with what we've got?
No, I have never, and I've been in this market for 20 years. Well, even more than that. The first rivalry game I covered was that snowstorm in 2003. And so, look, I've been doing this for a long, long time. And again, look, I'm running on fumes. We all are. So maybe my memory isn't. But I don't remember a game because it always seemed like one was up and one was down. but never both of them playing their best football of the season going into their singular game as a conference opponent with so much on the line. This is like we see 04-08. That game really mattered for Utah, but it didn't matter that much for BYU. I mean, let's be honest. BYU wasn't particularly that great. But this year, there is so much on the line for both these teams. We have never seen a rivalry game like this. I don't think I'm talking out of my I cannot remember, Lloyd, and you correct me if I'm wrong, where there is so much on the line between these two teams.
No, they're both right now. They're vying. I mean, Utah has one loss in the Big 12. They're, BYU obviously undefeated, and they're vying for that because right now Texas Tech looks like the top dog, obviously. So they're vying for that other position of possibly going to the title game. So there is so much on the line with this game right now.
I can't wait, man. I cannot wait for this week to get started. This is just going to be an absolute incredible week of lead up to this one. I'm just glad we're not dealing with the 2 weeks again like last year, Hans.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't have a bye week. Hey, Lloyd, can you kind of quickly just because Scotty and I didn't get to see the Utah game, can you kind of just give us a recap? I mean, it's a complete beating, but I'd like to know how it kind of went down.
Yeah, it was. But by the way, it was a downpour here in Salt Lake City. They were sheltering in place because there was lightning. There was a possibility of that maybe the game was going to be delayed. They had I think they updated around 7:50 that the game was going to get started about probably about 8:20 or 8:30, pretty close to. And so and you could see them. I was watching video of people out on the field squeegeeing the field to get the water off of it. It was nuts. To be honest with you, Utah went out there and absolutely punched Arizona State's defense in the mouth. They rushed all over them. They rushed for 276 yards in the game. Devin Dampierre went for 120 and 3 touchdowns. They had 183 yards in the first half. He only threw for 104 yards, but he didn't have to. It was all about. I think he only attempted like 12 passing attempts, and they just dominated him. Defensively, they got after that Sims, and it was kind of a bend don't break type defense because honestly, it felt like Utah's defense was out there quite a bit. Time of possession, Arizona State had 36 minutes and 26 seconds of that they had the ball, where Utah had time of possession was 23-34. So it was kind of a weird game where it felt like Utah absolutely dominated and seemed like they had the ball the most, but they didn't. Like it was kind of a weird game, but they, like I said, they ran all over them. You didn't really see guys like I didn't see like Benny and Snowden out there on the offensive side of the ball. It seemed like it was the normal traditional Utah team where those guys were more focused on the defensive side of the ball. You had a guy, Daniel Bray, who emerged as possibly another threat on the offensive side of the ball, rushing the ball. He had 41 yards rushing and had some nice little fly sweeps. Like it was an overall ass kicking that they put on Arizona State, and they beat down that defense. They really did.
So let me ask you this: if Arizona State's healthy at quarterback, how much does this game change? It doesn't seem like it's much.
No, I don't think it's much. I think obviously you're still looking at them putting what they did on defense, but maybe they're able to put up Arizona State. Maybe they put up, I don't know, maybe 24 points, something like that. They did. They definitely got it. They struggled. In the red zone. They had a blocked field goal early on. Benny, in fact, he had a blocked field goal attempt. I think you might get 24 points possibly, but I still think the way Utah's offense handled Arizona State, like I still think they put that amount of points. It doesn't change. You're right, Scotty. It doesn't change that much.
Devin Dampier, 10 carries, 120 yards, also 104 through the air. Only 13 attempts, and one of those came from Bird Ficklin. So 42 rushing attempts for 276 yards and 6 touchdowns. Lloyd, I know you said those numbers, but to let it actually kind of marinate and sink in, holy crap, Lloyd, that's nuts.
Yes, no, it's crazy. Like it's the 13 attempts. Yes, that's all. All Utah was doing was rushing the ball, and I'm telling you, Devin Dampier was gashing that defense. Like finally, he found a little bit of a rhythm, and they had a good flow with the RPO, and it was a good night. They laid it to him.
Hans is having some technical issues. I'm glad we were able to get him on with the BYU conversation. And that's the thing, when we do these podcasts, especially with me doing Utah State and Hans doing BYU, there's very rarely are all three of us going to be dialed in on all the games. So that's what Monday's for. We'll have it all broken down and watch all the film and stuff when we all get back into town. But from a Utah standpoint, it doesn't matter if Arizona State's healthy, from what I can judge. I mean, that was just a butt kicking of biblical proportions there. So all of that being said, Utah's playing their best football. They certainly got their cage rattled by Texas Tech, and you can tell they're taking it out on West Virginia. And we're like, okay, well, West Virginia's not very good. Well, Arizona State is good. I mean, I know they lost their quarterback, but that's still a good team. And Utah there was no element of doubt whatsoever in that game from start to finish. Right out of the gate, it's 21-3 at halftime, I think. And so when you look at what they were able to do and how they're playing, I'm having a hard time really trying to wrap my brain about what to expect on Saturday, Lloyd. I'm having a hard time figuring this out. I'm
with you, Scotty. I don't know, because I'm like, Utah made, no bones about it. They were going to rush the ball. They were running the ball. They weren't it was raining the whole time. It was raining most of the game. Like every time you'd have a little bit of a close up on the players, you could see it was like a downpour. And props, by the way, to a lot of the Utah fans, because it was pretty loud in that game as well. That stayed in those conditions, but it was they that's what they were going to do. They were going to run the ball because I don't think it wasn't very easy to throw the ball. And they pushed that defensive around, even though they knew they were going to run the ball. So yeah, they did. And I don't know what's going to happen in this BYU Utah game. I'm thinking, BYU. Well, if you load the box and try to make Devin Dampier, beat you through the air, then you should be able to stop him. But guess what? Arizona State tried to do that, but guess what? They still ran all over him. Didn't matter.
It almost feels like, in a weird way, the rain was beneficial for Utah because it forced them to just run the ball. And then when they got it going, I'm sure if Jason Beck tried to call down a pass play, Kyle would have barked at him like, nope. We got one thing working. Don't screw it up. Keep it the same.
Yep. No, he struck on one deep play to his favorite target, who was wide open, Ryan Davis, a 56-yarder, and that was that was half of Devin Dampier's yardage. So it was definitely an emphasis, and I'm telling you what, this game is going to be so much fun. I mean, we're not doing the late 8:30 game with this Utah BYU game. We're getting a 6 o'clock game on Fox. Like this is what it's all about.
It's gonna be lit.
Yes,
it is gonna be lit.
It's gonna slap.
It's gonna be lit.
God, there's gonna be so many bangers going.
Guys.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding, man. This is the rivalry game of all rivalry games. You've got a couple of good offenses. You've got two great defenses. You got great coaching staffs, long-time history. It's back at LaVell Edwards Stadium, 64,000 crammed in there. This is just going to be the week of all weeks. And I don't know how this thing plays out. Couple of things that I didn't mention. Keanu Tanavasa, he got tossed out of the game.
Yeah.
Scotty with a targeting call. Lloyd, you probably saw that.
I did.
He had a He had a targeting call. He got tossed in the first half. That really hurt the team. Raider DeMooney had a couple of TFLs, and then he got injured in the first half, so he was out of that game. Jack Kelly was ready. He was ready to be dressed. Kalani told him no. So Kalani ended up sitting him. Yeah, Scotty, he was ready.
Took it out of his hands.
He wanted to play. Yeah, Kalani took it out of his hands and said, we're going to fight through this. We're going to find the win, and we're going to give you another week of rest because he wants him totally healthy and ready for the rivalry game. So Jack Kelly would be back in that lineup. And it's like, outside of Raider DeMooney, and, JoJo Phillips and Sione Mo and a couple of these guys that it's been known that they're out, BYU's healthy. They are healthy, and they're ready to go. Lloyd, health-wise, how did Utah come out of this Arizona State game?
Felt like it was pretty healthy from what I could tell. I didn't, and I heard Kyle in the post game. He didn't mention really anything. They seemed pretty healthy. Like I said, Benny was out there and looked good. Dang near had an interception, trapped it against the ground. So they called it incomplete. And like I said, he had a blocked field goal in the game. The team, watching the battle between Snowden and Tyson was I can't wait for you to get your eyes on that, because that was something that was really fun to watch. They seem pretty healthy. The team, from what I could tell, the team looks healthy going into rivalry week.
Can't wait. Cannot wait, man. This is going to be so much fun. This week is just going to be a blast.
Well, and like typical Hans, Scotty, and Lloyd fashion, we're going to have great guests, everybody from Brian Johnson to Max Hall and everything in between. We're going to make it a fun week, and we're going to prop this game up. We'll get to all the X's and O's, get you some insights. But, out of all the games that I've called to this point, I don't know if I've been more excited for a game, because if BYU finds a way past Utah and they start this thing 7-0, and they've got some Big 12, some solid Big 12 games and wins logged. Like that, you go to Colorado, and Colorado just got a nice win over TCU today. You go to Colorado, take care of business. You go to Arizona Stadium, take care of business, take care of Noah Fafita. There's some impressive stuff. If you find a way past Utah, who is now finding their stride, 7-0 seems pretty incredible. And then on the flip side, if you're Utah and you get this win against BYU, now every Utah fan better hope that BYU down the line gets that win against Texas Tech. Because if that's the case, boys, then we get the ultimate dream, which is a BYU-Utah rematch in the Big 12 championship game, which I know it's a long stretch, but I'll hold on to that prayer until it becomes a reality.
Amen, brother.
There are just some great things on the horizon.
Well, and the other element, too, is how much fun would this be for Utah fans to wreck BYU, to give BYU their first loss of the season and wreck a magical year for them? I mean, that's the stuff of dreams for Utah or BYU.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. You're absolutely right, Scotty. I didn't even think about that, but, that's – Utah's ability to throw just the biggest, ugliest monkey wrench into the whole operation. They're going to do everything they possibly can to make that a reality. And, there's some crazy players in this whole thing. If you guys think about it, Keanu Tanavasa, he makes the move over. And Keanu needs to have a game, and he knows it now. He's had back-to-back games with 15-yard penalties, and he's had an ejection, and he's not Mr. Sacks or tackles. He hasn't had a ton of them. He's just done his job, and he's been a guy, but he needs to be the guy against his old team. And then on the flip side of it, Smith Snowden, BYU went after him. They went after him, and Smith said, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep the drum and feather on the side of the helmet. I'm going to represent. And so he's got major skin in the game. And that's just to mention of two. You guys know how crazy ancestral these two teams, between players and coaches and schemes and designs and recruitment and administration and fan base and families, and it is so intertwined that I can't even tell you. This is just going to be an all-timer. And whoever comes out of this one, I think whoever comes out of this one is a front runner for the Big 12. And I would put 60%, 70% chance that they make it to the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah. You know, the great thing for BYU, if they lose this game, and obviously it's a downer. Obviously they'll be ticked. But they can beat Texas Tech and be pretty much just fine in getting a spot in the Big 12 title game. So they still would control their own destiny to get to that championship game. Utah, on the other hand, they have to win, or else it's done. And, then it's just about wherever they go for a bowl game at that point. But the beautiful thing for BYU and what they're dealing with right now, for so many years, we would cover BYU, and it was like, oh, great, September. Middle of October, oh, they lost a game. And then it was done. It was over with. BYU fans had nothing else to cheer for because you were going to the same bowl game, whether it was 11-1 or 6-6. Here, they can take a loss to Utah, beat Texas Tech, and be right there in a Big 12 championship game for a chance to play in a college football playoff, for crying out loud.
Yep. But you said it perfectly. On the flip side, Utah can't.
Yeah.
Utah can't lose these two Big 12 games and find their way through. I just don't think they can. And I do think that they get the lighter schedule of the two teams on the back end of this season. But I don't think Utah can get to where they want or need to get if they lose to BYU and they rack up two conference losses. One of them was a beatdown by Texas Tech. And if BYU beat them, it would drop them down probably, 40, 45 in rankings, and they would just have to scratch and claw for anything, any type of hope for the Big 12 championship. So a ton more is on the line for Utah as far as their Big 12 season is concerned. But BYU's got it all on the line because they feel like they've got something special. And I will tell you, boys, I think Bear Bachmeier's special.
Yeah.
I think he's special. 22 carries tonight, Scotty. 22 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Tough kid. And he just finds a way to get wins and get the job done. So, rack him up. Let's play.
Yep,
I can't wait to see this thing.
Just a quick recap. Late one, Utah State had a 17-10 lead over Hawaii. They led 26-24, but then they just couldn't get anything going offensively, and the defense was just a sieve. Hawaii was able to mow up and down the field, scored 20 unanswered, 17 of those coming in the fourth quarter. Utah State loses 44-26. Bit of a scary moment. We didn't see what happened to him, and Bronco, this might shock you, Bronco didn't go into much detail on this in the postgame. But Bryson Barnes left the game with kind of later in this first half, about, I want to say, 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and missed the last 2 series of the second quarter, and then came back in and finished the game, played the entire second half. Bronco said he got a little banged up, but the trainers worked with him and got him back and going. I don't know what the injury was. I don't know how detailed it was or what the issue was. I'll try to dig into that a little bit more. Miles Davis had 100 yards, but Hans, I always hate telling you this for many reasons, but that offensive line at Utah State has got some real issues they got to work through. They gave up a bunch of sacks, but George Miley got hit with not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 holding calls, 2 of them back-to-back. And Utah State, every time they got a little bit of momentum, boom, holding call. I mean, they're up 26-24. They get a stop. They've got the ball with a chance to go up 2 possessions. And they have a big play that gets them a first down. George Miley gets hit with a hold. Now it's, instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 20. And they just couldn't dig out of that hole. It just wrecked them tonight. Holding calls right and left. That offensive line really had some problems. And, there's no free agency. There's no trades. It's who they are, and they got to find a way to get through it. That's a bad deal.
Well, man, I hate I hate that they're on an airplane headed back from the Rock, and they're on a short week against San Jose State too.
Yeah.
Like this sucks. This whole trip from the failed charter to the late escape from town to the layover that they had to go through. The whole trip has been a nightmare. And then to have it in that way and now be on a short week, like this all just sucks, man. Utah State, man, it's like the chips are stacked against them. What are they doing playing against two nationally ranked teams to start this season and then having delays and layovers? It needs to be better, Scotty.
Yeah.
Utah State deserves better. Yeah, they deserve better.
Yeah. I mean, you said it the right way. It sucks. Everything about this year and the schedule and the adversity that they've had to fight through, it just sucks. It really does. This is a team that, there's some talent deficiencies in some areas. Defensive backfield's got to get better. It was great getting Ike Larson back. They needed him. That allowed because they had a couple of corners that were getting picked on badly in the first half. So they took Noah Avenger, slid him back over to corner, and that helped out a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Hawaii starts gashing them in the fourth quarter with a run of all things. So it just can't line up. But I tell you what, this coaching staff they're doing a lot of duct tape and baling twine. I still feel very confident they'll be bowl eligible. The Mountain West isn't particularly great this year, so they still have a lot of goals in front of them that they can accomplish. But yeah, it's this next recruiting cycle and this next transfer portal is going to be really big for Bronco and this crew to try to get this team improved in some key areas. So, all right, well that wraps it up for us. Hope everybody has a good Sunday.
When do you head home, Scotty?
So I've got a flight here that will leave in about 6 hours from right now. And then we've got like a 2.5 layover at LAX. And then so I will be home. We're leaving at 6:30 Hawaii time and getting home at 8 p.m. Mountain time. So, yeah.
Jeez. Good
times. How about you, Hans?
Oh, jeez.
Driving to Phoenix?
I got a flight out of here at I'm flying out tomorrow at about like 10:30. I fly out at Tucson and get back around 12:30 or 1. So I get kind of at least a little bit of a nice early arrival, but it's a long weekend to travel, man. This has been kind of a crazy season, and can't wait to be back together on Monday. We will kick this thing off. We'll kick off rivalry week, and I promise you, man, we'll all be putting our time into it. So.
Oh yeah, we'll do it upright for sure. All right, gentlemen, enjoy your Sunday. Thanks for listening. Your Sunday morning MAP podcast. We'll be back with you on Monday, high noon, with complete coverage. You'll hear from Bronco Mendenhall, Kalani Sitake, Kyle Whittingham. Nobody does rivalry week like this show does. It's up. It'll kick off tomorrow at noon right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.